Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to coloring this lovely page from Spring Scenes. Now, last time we did the flowers, the leaves, did that nest thing. We did do these trees, but not this one yet, just with the marker. I think right now I'm going to start with the sky because it's quite a lot and I just want to get the tedious things done first. So first, let me just zoom in a bit. Now, for the sky, I did notice this little thing. I'm not sure what to do with it. But I think that it would be nice if these are like pillars and that orb is just on top of that. So I think I'll just add some more blue. So it's just in between that thing. It might look a bit off, but this is one of those things that I don't know what to make of it. So I'll just make it my own. Now that was the pale grayish blue B220. Focus, yes. Also, I noticed over here, it kind of looks like those could be flowers. Now, I don't want to go into yellow or like more pink. So for some reason, I already grabbed this, which is not my colorless blender. It does look like it, but I thought maybe I can make them like white. But I'll just leave that for now. I have been testing my sky and also these, well, they're not white ones. So I think that should complement the sky. I'll grab my swatches so you can sort of compare. So this is that B220. Now I picked for the light part the 145, which is that one. So as you can see, we are going a lot darker, but I didn't want to go for these because they look too cold. And this is a bit of a warmer one. If you want to go real warm, you should go for these, but you are going into green pretty fast. So yeah, that's why I picked these. They're like the neutral blues. I also picked the 152. So that'll be our middle tone. And then I needed something darker. I didn't think that 110 was going to do. So I picked that 144. But as you can maybe see on those swatch lists, we are going to go over that lightly. And then the color transition might actually work. Maybe even with the 10. Now, there's a reason I'm not pronouncing this because I'm always having fun with it. So I know it's phthalo blue, but that is just it's just demanding me to misbehave and go phthalo blue. I'm not sure you want to be listening to that, because then I would have said I picked the light phthalo blue, middle phthalo blue, cobalt blue greenish. Anyways, let's get started. I did sharpen them, although I have sharpener issues right now. I was using this, but I'm noticing that it's breaking more and more on my points. So I am actually back to this one, which, I don't know, I'm not too excited about it because it doesn't give a sharp point, but it doesn't break my points either. And if I want a sharp point, believe it or not, I got this for free. But it does the job a whole lot better than this one. This one didn't break any points yet, and it's a very basic, cheap, well, very cheap because I got it for free. Now, into the coloring. At the top, I'm going to go dark, and then further down, we're going to go light. So I'm not sure how I want to do it, because as you can see in my sort of testy thingy, that middle thing kind of just disappeared anyways. But let's just start with that sort of dark, go light. I'll just start over here. I can mask it. So I'm barely touching the paper. I might be doing this twice, but this is really going to be layering, I guess. Still figuring out layering. I recently started to draw with my pencils as well, so that might actually help with the coloring too. And for those of you who follow me on Instagram, then, well, you would have already seen that. I think it kind of looks okay. guess you pick up a lot with just coloring. I mean, drawing with your pencils, if you get the outer lines, and I suppose you're all set. My light's okay. My lights are kind of okay. You don't have to see every little detail, I guess. Just gotta see what I'm doing. Also notice that I said in the last one I was gonna upload that picture in the Facebook group, and then a few days later I checked the Facebook group and I was like, I put everything on there. Like, swatches are there, the DIY color wheel, which is a very debatable thing. People are gonna think it's gonna completely be useless because you can just buy that. Actually, I was shopping for paper. Did notice there was a coloring wheel. It was like 10 euros. Why? So yeah, looking at it that way, Facebook group, DIY your own color wheel. I mean, it's not fancy, and it's yeah, I mean, I could probably do better, but I don't get paid for this. So I kind of just made a quick, simple thingy for those who want to, I don't know, DIY their own simple thingamies. It's gonna be one of those days. It really is. It's a good thing that at some point I will be speeding it up, so I have to, I can just stop trying to make sense and just color. It is gonna be warm, so I still haven't decided on the upload rate of this. But I mean, I guess by the time you're watching it, it was uploaded. And I guess that means I made a bit of a decision. Alright, now probably don't want to go any darker. I want to stop with the dark. I guess that color underneath really kind of shows that this is a lot darker. That's okay, I will be blending it. Not to worry, that is my very cheap, you probably have the materials at home too kind of blending. And I really do think everyone can blend like that. Or you could just walk over to your neighbors and be like, I need to blend. Do you have this? Because what I tend to use is Q-tips, and this one is a bit dirty. I just want to start off with a clean one. These are amazing. But I suppose you can just replace this with, I don't know, maybe some toilet paper or some kitchen towel paper stuffing thing. What is it called? Well, kitchen paper. I'll just call it kitchen paper. It's one of those moments where I mean, you should have gone cut and just do it again. Nope, 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 nope. My color alongs are one big blooper reel. See, now I have this all smooth. I mean, this takes away a bit of the paper, but yeah, just move the pigment around. See, over here, whoa, over here you kind of still see those like uncolored bits, which over there, less so, which is I guess where the rest of the pigment went, to the uncolored bits. Now, I do think you could use clean cloth as well. I mean, anything that is, well, like a Q-tip, just clean, I guess. So, use a sock, or, you know, we can all blend. Don't let people talk you into buying stuff. You don't need it. I often got questions on what I use for blending because it was so smooth and so vibrant. Guess what? Q-tip. And the rest of it is just burnishing with pencils, which I probably won't be doing much of in this one. Right, now it doesn't matter if the tree gets a bit of that blue, it really doesn't. And the flowers are, I mean, I'm going over this right now. And maybe the Posca is going to be picking up a little bit, but it's not going to blend much, so don't worry about that. I think, what should I do? I'm just going to go light to dark. Usually I just keep going, but I also want to see how dark this is, because again, it's not the lightest. I was thinking about that, but I feel like color-wise it's too warm. I don't know if I can. Do I have something similar on this one? Do I have something similar to that? Yeah, not really, but it's like a different color family. Do I have one here? Might as well try and learn something while we're here. Oh yeah, that, I think. So if I put that next to that, it's just not the same. It's too different. You know, they gotta be related. I think that's called the U, but it's just gotta be sort of the same. We don't need fancy words. I don't need them. You don't need them. The colors just need to sort of be the same. Like a shadowy version of each other. Not like we use the colored lamp. This was awkwardly a moment where I just checked my phone, like, did I even hit record? I did. Alright, so for some reason I decided there was a hole in the canopy. That sounds correct. Now again, this is turning out a bit to the dark side, but Q-tip is gonna fix it. Which you don't technically have to clean because it's not like the blue from that is really on there. It's not gonna mingle much. But I'll probably be doing this side of the tree, and then the rest I'll probably speed up, which is, I like that. I like speeding it up a bit because it just gives me possibilities, like taking breaks because this room is silly warm. Also saves a lot of time because I'm aware that, you know, not everyone actually wants to color along. Some people just want to watch someone color, and that's cool too, but I mean, might as well just speed it up a bit. Again, I will be adding the end result that we get from this video to the Facebook group, so, you know, if you're unsure, you can just zoom in a bit. If you still have questions, just ask. And I can always, like, take a picture of a certain part of the picture, I guess. Alright, let's just see what happens if I blend first. I'm just going to use the yucky side just to show that it really doesn't matter much. Now, if you're doing, like, yellow flowers and you have just, well, say, blended the tree, and you have brown on there, you don't want that. But as you can see, I did not do those fancy circle motion stuffy thingies. I just colored in one direction, kept it light though. And if you actually start pushing down, then, you know, you are going to get direction. And even if you do, it doesn't really matter. You can always go over that in the other direction, because I don't think it's really that obvious. I did say I might go over a few things again, just to make sure. Now this is that 152, sorry. Although, you know, if you have them, it's just the middle one. I do sometimes forget, but I try. I really try. I just get so distracted by the coloring that I sometimes just forget to mention what I'm using. Gotten better at it though. This is the part where I'm so glad that I actually went for a darker of the dark, because this pretty much seems the same. But it's just a way to connect the two, an easy way. Could have picked up a lot of blues, but I just want to keep this simple. I mean, not like that previous Teresa page I did. It's not going to be that simple. I do want to be a bit more creative on this, but if I really want to make it awesome or something, awesome. I have done complete skies just with pencil. Could do that now too, because again we have that little layer underneath, so it would just be very intense. Because that's what the marker kind of does, it intensifies it. But I'm kind of like, as I'm going into that lighter blue, I'm just going for less pressure. I'm just trying to find a place where I can just create that starting point. Oh, again, just grab this. I'll just try not to avoid the tree because it doesn't really matter if there's a little blue in there. I mean, we already know it's going to be brown. Brown is basically a color that is made up out of all other colors. So it doesn't really matter if there's any blue in there. Look at that. I do kind of, it looks a bit weird, but oh well. I do want to do this top again though. Could just be sort of going into the evening as well. I don't know. Maybe for the sky it wasn't too smart to go one blue darker. This is probably that part where I start doubting. Is it gonna be okay? Is it? But then, you know, the tree is kind of uncolored right now. Everything else is still very uncolored, so still got to bring it all together. Double checking. No, I'm not going to go for that middle one anymore because I feel like I'm going a bit too dark bluey. So then we have 2 layers of the dark one layer of that in-between color. And, well, this is going to be, I'm going to go in a different direction this time just to see if it's really going to make that much of a difference. And again, I just want a quick page to color, so I'm not trying to go all fancy here. But I feel like I should maybe still kind of show how it should be done. Yeah, I do know. If you keep going in the same direction, it's going to show up a lot more. And since the first time we went, well, top to bottom, now we're going to go left to right. I'm hoping that background noise is not picking up too much. Not much I can do about that. Now, I guess for this it would work if you have like some sort of solvent, but I don't have enough layers on here to really go into solvents. Which is kind of what you need. I feel like this is kind of okay. Now, this is also why I did the flowers first, because that blue is not really going to stick to the flowers. I mean, it could, but not so much. If I would have done it the other way around, it would have really shown up. Not really pushing down, just enough to actually, I can feel that the Q-tip is on the paper, and that's about as much pressure as I'm applying. I mean, otherwise it's just going to bend, but this is like the amount of color that actually kind of comes off. Let's just see if I use that clean side. I mean, it's not like it works as an eraser. It definitely doesn't. Although sometimes, like with the sky, I thought it was a little bit too dark. Now I blend it all in. It's not so dark anymore. I do feel that my lights are kind of against me right now. So you can't really see. I tried to adjust my lights, but that's not really working. But, well, if I do it like this, it kind of, I mean, there is a bit of a gradient to it. It goes a little bit to the darker, so let's just see if I can, well, do that from here to there. So I guess we could say that light part kind of stops at that height, The dark part kind of stops sort of over here-ish. That's light in between. Now we did 2 layers of the light, 2 of the dark, and 1 of that middle color. So I'll be just speeding that up because that's a lot of sky and it's just a lot of the same thing. So let's just speed it up. Right, into the blending. I decided to stop speeding it up for a bit because over here we also have that brown. Now here we have a certain risk of the pink and the green sort of merging with the sky. Here, however, it is that brown because we did color a lot of brown. So you might want to keep it really lightly and stay away from the brown if possible. Which I suppose if you have like a blending stump, you could just get right into all these nooks and crannies. Or you could just leave those little bits. Or get creative. I don't know. Just a little heads up. It's also, I think, how much do you really care? But I think it had to be said. So I guess we can speed it right back up again. So over here again, be careful. I suppose it's like a tiny area, so maybe you don't even have to, but you probably want to. Alright, so now we're going to do that top part again and the bottom part again. So basically we are done with that middle phthalo blue, the 152, that just goes to the side. Because we did the dark part one more time and we're just going into the dark. So we keep that dark sort of on that level. It doesn't have to be tight. Like an exact sort of line. Don't use a ruler and actually draw a line because you're going to see that. Should probably mention that a bit sooner. But, I mean, if you have, then, well, you already know what I mean. It's just these things you quickly forget to mention. Which is why I try to kind of mention everything. Because these little things, silly as they might seem to me, or to many others, there might still be people who were looking for just that piece of information, which means I will be sharing it. So I might be stating the obvious quite a lot. For some. Or maybe not. I don't know. It's just I noticed that actually through doing recordings, I never really paid attention to what I was doing. People were asking, and I was like, you know what? I honestly don't know. But then you start recording and start talking about what you're doing, and you kind of figure out what it is you're doing. Because let's be honest, we just sit down and we color, and I don't know, most of us don't really think about it. So a lot of these things, you know, when you hear them, you're like, but of course, but you need to hear them first. And don't worry, I'll be telling you. Now I also kind of went over the birds with the blending, because I feel like I'm going to make those birds, I don't know, something fun. Probably bright blue and some yellow. And I'm going into that light one. I'll just start at the bottom and just mix my way through. This is going to be boring, so let's just speed that up, shall we? you may have noticed I hold my pencil kind of weird, but that's because I just want to use that side. It's light background, and actually using that bigger area kind of prevents lines from showing up. You can still get lines, but not as much as like really putting the point on there. It's a bit tricky with all these nooks and crannies, but, well, that's going to be brown anyways, so it doesn't really matter. You can also see how fast these things smudge up. So let's just speed up that blending again, because we're just sort of caressing the paper with a Q-tip. We can speed that up. Now I actually feel that this side over here is a bit too dark. I'm just going to see if I can fix that. Yeah, it seems to take care of it a little bit. I'm just using a neat eraser for that. No idea if that's the best way. You can do this with a normal eraser, I guess. Although the Google and researching, there is no such thing as a normal eraser. But you already know if I kind of get a normal eraser and compare that with this. I mean, it's already pretty clear. Erasers can be very different. But there's like vinyl and plastic and, well, these, the gummy ones, which I think are mostly kind of used for graphite and whatnot. But if I just get my normal eraser, which is cheap, well, I suppose I could do sort of the same thing. Just feel like I have less control, because what I'm doing is just lightly going over it, kind of just holding it to the paper. Now this is probably one of those rubber erasers, I don't know. Again, they were very, very cheap. I think I paid around €1, and then there's a 4-pack. What I love about these is the edges. So, like now with the flowers, I can just really get in there, because I feel like I overdid it. The color difference between this side and that was just too big. Let's just kind of brush it off. See, that looks more, yeah, kind of do that bottom part as well. No, I don't know, I just prefer this for some reason, I don't know. It's probably because with one of these, it's easier to drag lines in there. These are, generally speaking, more gentle, I think. Though I have to say, with the warm weather, this thing is becoming kind of sticky. I'm sure you can, any brand will do. I am no eraser expert. I just bought a few different ones, and it turns out I'm using this, which was just a Faber-Castell Knead eraser, kneadable eraser, kneadable art eraser. Let's go to the easy part. You open it here. And it never really goes back in. Usually just get a little bit and hope it kind of closes. But yeah, you could use this too for the parts that you think are a little too dark. But I'm just holding it to guide it over the paper. Alright, I feel like I'm getting too nitpicky. Now, the bird, as you may have noticed, I kind of just ran over that. So I'm going to do again. I'm just going to grab my ivory. I'm going to try and sharpen somehow. because again, issues. I guess what I liked about this eraser was that you can kind of set the length of the entire point. So I mean, this now grew, and I mean, this was still sharper than that. So, you know, there's just more exposed lead or core, or well, more of the pencil core is exposed. Now, why I'm doing this is because I'm going to go over that with a Posca, and I feel like a Posca kind of works better if it has a bit of a pencil layer underneath. Tends to tear up the paper less quick. I'm going to leave that bird be for now. Now I am going to get fancy with the Poscas, so, well, fancy. Just a little eureka moment I had on another page. And now I'm kind of playing around with the Poscas a bit more. That seems like a bird too. No idea what's going on outside. Alright, so it's the background birds, all done except for the cloudy one. Now, I do like to kind of brush everything off because Poscas can be, they clog up. Now I'm going to grab my ivory, which I'm going to explain this. I have an old one, which sort of still works, but you know, it's just a way for me to tell difference. And next to that, I'm going to grab the brown. Now, the previous ones I did were bigger. They were bigger. Get my swatchy testy thingy, because I still have some paper sort of on there. Let's just see if I can get that off first. It seems to have either worked or just kind of stuck it to the thing, but this is a kind of a thin line, so this one's working. This one's working too. Get. So what I'll be doing is I'll just get a little bit of brown at the bottom of those birds. Well, bird, I'm going to do them one by one. Get that nip back on, and then go straight in with the ivory, which should make it blend a little bit. Now these are too tiny, so I'm just going to do the other one with the ivory first. And then go back in with the brown. Don't want to be over enthusiastic. Just gives the bird a little bit more oomph. Now if it's a bigger bird, then the colors actually kind of blend with each other as well, which we will probably see on that one. The not in the cloud one. I'm just gonna do that brown underneath again. They don't have to be perfect. They have to look like birds, which I feel is always a bit hard. On that bigger one, I'm just gonna start with the brown. Put that underneath. Now I had a small Posca set. Not exactly sure anymore how many were in there. Got a few separate ones as well, but it wasn't one of the big sets. These are all the 1M, which is basically like that triangle point. So it's not the smallest one. I do actually like those. I actually ordered new paint markers because for some reason, I don't know, my love for the Posca seems to be fading a bit, because I had a white that just was never working. Other colors are kind of like watery from start to empty as well, which I just think is a waste of my money. So I've been looking around for other paint markers. Should arrive tomorrow for me, which might mean they still get included into this video. Alright, I feel like that actually already looks good. I shouldn't fiddle with that too much, should I? I mean, close up, it just doesn't look like a burnt much, but that one has a little dot. I have no idea why, but he does. Is this face or is this part of him? And that one kind of looks okay too. So the birds are done. Now I'm going to go for those. Now I'm still going to be thinking about those birds just because I haven't decided. I feel like I should get these two just right. Because we're going into browns. Oh well, let's just clean up first. Right, actually took a little break. I think I was discussing birds and tree, and I mean, obviously I'm cutting that out because I then decided to just go for the tree. Because I mean, these birds are, they're tiny, which I think I'm gonna do them like a blue with a little bit of yellow. So it shouldn't take too long. So the tree is that 170. I'm just going to use this list. I could just, but I'm using the list. Like showing off the lists. I feel like that burnt sienna is kind of, yeah. It's not going to be my middle tone because I actually have 4 pencils. But this was kind of the one that I went for, so that 283. So then we need a darker color for that shadowy part. Now I felt the walnut brown is too dark. Burnt umber, I don't know. I've used it a few times and it does look like decently brown, but for some reason, I don't know. So I'm going for the 176, the Van Dyke brown. I suppose I could get my Pablos, but I wanna see if I can just leave them for now. Then I also had the Beaster 179. It threw me as a shorty in a very crappy extender, but it does the job. And in yet another crappy extender, which also does the job, is the 182 brown ochre for the light bits. So let's just see how that works. Should probably start with like fiddly bits. Although it might just actually be hard to fit all 4 in there. I did these with the rotary sharpener, so I might actually resharpen. Because this is not a point. And I don't want too much dark in there, so I'm actually going to fix that for a bit. See, that is a point. Just see if we can see the difference. This is what I want. This is what I get. But I'm also receiving a new sharpener tomorrow. I have no idea if that's going to be any better, but well, it can't be a whole lot worse than what this thing is doing. So, generally speaking, I would say that the dark part is at the bottom, and I'm just going to pick this branch because it's big enough, but it's also kind of small, so because of course we want to be speeding things up. I do anyways. This light, I need more light. Is this good for the camera too? Probably not, but on the one hand, I do want the camera to pick it up, well, correctly, because otherwise I have no real reason for doing this. If you cannot see it, then why am I doing a color along? But, on the other hand, I also want my page to look good. I don't just want your page to look good. I am here for me too. I've done so many pages by Teresa, and I cannot stop. I gotta keep coloring these. I don't know why, I just like the seams. Yeah, sometimes I'm not too pleased with the line work. This one actually doesn't seem too bad. I have books where it's more, I don't know. Generally speaking, they're good though. And the way I see it, if the lines aren't always perfect, then it's just a challenge, isn't it? I mean, even if some of the lines, that is my head, I just got my head stuck in a lamp, by the way. Even if some flowers aren't exactly right, I mean, it's still a lovely page. I mean, I get it. In a perfect world, but I don't believe such a thing really exists. That perfect world. I mean, some books are better. Some books are worse. If you don't like it, don't color it. It's, I don't know, I guess I can get so kind of annoyed by people just tearing on books and then they buy another one. This one actually kind of looks the same. I mean, I have the real book, the book, which you've seen because I put that on screen. But if you just go online and check the websites, you can see like a flip through. I mean, flip throughs, well, they're not on their website, but YouTube helps with that. And I have done one flip through on one of these books, but I feel like it's kind of double because a lot of people already, everyone's flipping through them. I mean, I could do it again, but I don't think I can flip through the book any more gracefully than other people have. But I mean, if you want me to flip through the book, then let me know, because so far I have not colored in the book yet. So I suppose I could still do a flip through, but the way I see it, other people did that too, and I'd probably do it the same. I just go from one page to the next. But those really help, because you can kind of already see what a book is like. But on their actual website, their actual website, you can see like samples of the page, and yeah, they're kind of showing exactly what you get in the book. There's not a whole lot of difference there. Yeah, you're definitely hearing that. Summertime. It's funny though, because in the winter I hear that a lot less. It's like, is your car not working in the winter? Or is that why it's making so much noise? Is that compensating for being not practical? Oh well. I don't know how dark I want to go, but as you can see, just putting some shadow over there, on there, I guess, already kind of turns it into something else. This could already be it. Although, if you're thinking this is it, then I would suggest you kind of fade into your marker bits, kind of like this a bit. Just make it look slightly smoother, especially on those bigger areas. What is this? What's all that crap? Right. Now I'll be going for that burnt sienna now. I mean, on here I can't really put in a lot of colors, but there's a reason I picked this, because we have fiddly bits where I can no way fit all those 4 colors in, and we have a bigger area where I probably can manage to put quite a few colors in. I'm like so distracted. Since I got started, I already double checked, like, did I hit record? Did I plug my mic in? Once I actually forgot about that, and yeah, that's just no fun for people with listening to this with headphones. Because for some reason there is these 2 mics on your phone, and it just tends to pick up. There's like a main mic, which in this case would be over there. That also kind of means that the sound is just coming from like one spot. I had that once. I actually had to listen to that. It took me a while to figure out that I totally forgot to plug the mic in. And that's just kind of weird. Me in one ear. Because the other is just, there's this weird silence in your other ear. Although you might actually prefer that. Might have muted me already. All right, so now we have that second color. So we have the two in the not so very good extenders. But I have to say, I mean, they're crappy, but you're still holding your pencil for the most part. It's just that it rests somewhere. So, yeah, it's actually tight enough that when I put it in a sharpener, it stays put. Every now and then one of the back thingies just comes off, but I'm not pulling on it right now, so I mean, I can use it. And back when I got them, it was 20 of these. They get the job done. And they don't look fancy, and if you start pulling on them, they fall apart, yes, but they get the job done. They extend, and they enable you to actually use your sharpener again, because actually holding that tiny thing and trying to sharpen it, that is just, I tried that. That is no fun. So, I mean, these get the job done, and I bought a pack which had 20 in them. Smaller ones and actually the dual ones for like €5. So, and they work. So that's good enough for me. And so this is that beaster. And now to kind of bring it back to life, let's just get that close up again. I'm just gonna top it off with that 182. Yes. Now I will be trying to kind of stay away from the darker areas, because again, I just want to keep this quick and simple. So if it's just pencil, you probably would be coloring it different. I'm like, what is that? But actually, I taped this blue thing with like the washi tape. It just came loose. Okay, what was that? No particular reason why I used the blue. I just thought that cutting mat underneath was getting smudgy too. So I have to clean that, but I don't feel like doing that right now. And every time I tip over one of those, well, little cuppy thingies that I use for my pencil sharpener shavings, there's like a mess everywhere. So I thought I'd just get some A3 hobby paper in different colors, and I just find a color that matches the page. So blue. Just, I feel like this looks okay, doesn't it? I mean, I feel so. So I'm just gonna repeat that process. Now over there, this is the back of the tree, because I think the light, well, over there came from that side too. So the light is coming from the everywhere, because over here it kind of, yeah, we have complicated things. Oh no, still the same, because kind of on the left. So the light is on the right, so I'll be repeating the process. But of course, I'll be speeding it up, because you get the idea, right? So that's the second one. So basically, you just kind of get a line with the dark one. Maybe 2 lines of this, then go into that beaster, and I kind of top it off with this, so whatever areas are uncolored, that'll be this. So I think I'm just gonna continue into all the fiddly branches first, because of course the main tree is gonna be a slightly different story. I might actually grab extra colors for that, but let's just focus on the dark parts, just mostly next to the line. So back to the 176, the Van Dyke Brown, and just, well, we can speed it up again. As you may have noticed, I do go over black lines here and there, which I'm not sure always shows up as well, but I mean, again, we're not going for perfection per se. I mean, I'm trying to make it look good. Otherwise, I would have used way less colors. I mean, if you want to really go easy, then you maybe grab 2 browns. I do feel like I might want to sharpen again, but it's just, yes, I'm going to do that. Because over here it gets really fiddly. I feel like I should just pick part of that tree and just go one color at the time. Now, I mentioned this in a other color along, that I'm usually all over the page, just because I'm holding it, I'm using it, and this tree is, well, it's a lot of the same. I am currently battling my lights. They seem to be, I don't know, at some point I had the lights set up just right, and now for some reason I'm always unhappy with them. But over here, I do feel like it doesn't have to be as dark, because they are tiny. So I guess the most important part is to get the dark colors in. So like this really dark one, and maybe that beaster might just be, it's just that that burnt sienna kind of gives it that warm glow. So I'll need that too, but I'll just start by putting in some of this, and then I'll see what else I can do. This is how I usually color a page like this, and I could go branch for branch, or I could go color by color. Now this branch kind of intersects, so this is underneath there, which I feel should create a little bit of shadow. And so I'm just gonna go up to there-ish. Could just pick this one as well, because I'm holding it, I'm using it. Just don't want to do this on too many spots at once, because you might actually, I don't know, forget where you were. Well, I would anyways, which is why I'm not doing it. Do want to add a little bit more on those bigger areas. See, already distracted because I wasn't going to just keep going. Yeah, here I am. Alright, so let's just get into this one, which of course also needs a point. I feel like I should move the camera just a little bit. I feel that's a little better. So I'm just gonna start right here, move my way back. I'm actually being semi-blinded by my lights right now. Still, yeah, a good solution for that. Not too happy about it. It is actually pretty good to color in, but I also want it to be good for recording, which is kind of the constant battle that I'm in. Because then it will look good for me, but then the camera kind of isn't picking it up. Although I suppose if you can sort of see what I'm doing, I mean, if the colors aren't completely correct, I suppose that's okay, because, well, I set what I'm using. Yeah, we did do this as well. See, this is kind of the problem of working in all places at once and then stopping at some point. Although I feel like even if I missed that darker color over here, it wouldn't really matter. I mean, on the tree trunk it would really show up. Might just be on this one I only get the tree and the sky done, because I don't know. Something tells me I need to talk through this a bit more. Am I gonna include? Yes, why not? Why not include this as well? So that is back to that dark one, which you probably think isn't holding the other one right here. Also may have noticed that I've gotten rid of the claws for now. They're just getting annoying. Sometimes I just clip them off. As a TK dodo, that is what I'm used to. Just short nails, basically. No nails. Because in sports, nails are kind of a no-no. Well, not all sports, but in martial arts, they kind of are. Suppose in boxing gloves, you could sort of get away with it, but still you'd make a fist and yeah, you'd be scratching yourself. So now into the beaster. Actually, did try that once. Boxing gloves with nails, but your nails tend to just dig their way through. You don't want that. So yeah, I guess when my nails get too long, I just kind of get freaked out by them or something. I don't know. I also developed this strange urge to just tap on everything. Probably because, well, I couldn't do that before. Just constantly headbutting my camera now. You'll get used to that. I'm not getting used to my camera, but you will get used to me headbutting it. That's how you know you're in the right place. I did say that maybe I was going to bring my other pencils into this, but because I started doing my little drawing thingy, I don't feel the need. Alright, so now I'm going to top that off with that 182. Because this is burnishing, just going over everything and hoping it sort of blends. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. We've got marker underneath. We did that for a reason, because we want to be a tiny bit lazy. And the light fastness rating on markers, as in if you put it on the wall, will it fade? Yeah, it will. Gotta put that behind some UV protection glass stuff, or maybe there's a spray for that, I don't know. I just put mine in a folder, so I don't really care. But I do think, you know, you put some pencil over there, it would last longer, I think. But then you need to put like enough over that to actually cover the marker. Well, I have to say that it's not, the bleed through on this paper is not as bad as I thought it would be. So, or maybe we just didn't use a whole lot of marker. I'm just going to turn it a little bit because it's just going to make it easier for me. So I also think I'm going to speed it up again because, well, I took my time on that and I do want to keep the videos somewhat short. So here we go. So now we have pretty much all of it done. And I'm seeing like a little thingy over there, but you know, if I put it over there, you can't really, oh yeah, I can still see it. Let's just take care of that. It doesn't really matter if someone else is annoyed by it. It is my page, and I just like it better like that. Well, I feel like this just makes the branches look a little bit more rounded off. It's just with these big ones, it's pretty much the same thing, but I also think I might actually want to add a darker color, which is going to be the dark sepia, which I did sharpen first. That's the 175 because they tend to change the names. Because on this big branch, just gonna, because I really want it to come alive, and shadow kind of does that, so I'm hoping adding just a little bit here and there is gonna help me do that. I really have some lights in my eyes here. This is just, my lights are blinding me. On camera it's actually kind of okay. Let's just see if I can move it though. Yeah, that'll do for now. I'll get annoyed by it. Give it time. Just give it some time. I will get re-annoyed by it. So basically all these lines that we have here, I'm kind of putting that dark sepia in there and on there. Because you can kind of fade the lines by just going over that with your pencil. It doesn't always work, but... And I noticed at the top it's a little bit messy because the lines kind of stopped. Should have done that earlier. But again, it's a fun coloring where we want to get a decent result. But honestly, if I want to get, like, if I really want a good result, I would go for pencils. I just prefer that. That's not me saying you cannot do this with markers. I have seen people color pages like this with markers, and oh my god, wow. This is me saying that if I want to make it look good, I need my pencils. Also, I'd need a different printer. And I have colored one of these with just the markers. On marker paper, where I actually printed the page, put that on a bright pad. So in the final coloring, I didn't have any lines. I could do that too, one of these days, but that just doesn't work on all pages. Not for me anyways. I'm not too good with too fiddly details on the page. Not with markers. I mean, with pencil, you can give me fiddly all day long. I like that. I just like the details, and it's just so zen to me. I know that Teresa's books have also been getting bad reviews on, well, Amazon and probably on other sites too. From people going, it's too detailed. Well, I mean, one, could have seen that before you bought it, probably. And two, how is it being too fiddly? How's that bad? You don't like it. It doesn't make it bad. Just me getting to the point of always check reviews and check why. Check the bad ones and check the whys. Because too often it's people not paying attention. Or it's people complaining about the delivery, which doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the product. But they probably couldn't find another place to, I don't know, complain about it. So they just complain about the product, even though it's not the product's fault. Or it's like these things that they could have known up front. And I see people complain about like the size of products, right? It looked bigger in the picture. Yes, but did you read the description? Because it actually says like so many by so many, well, centimeters, inches, wherever you shop. But the description, it's usually right there. So then they add like a picture, a photo of the product holding it in their hand, and I'm like, well, the description said it was around like 3 centimeters. Looks like that in the picture too, so what exactly is the problem? So you're not really giving a bad review on the product then. You're really reviewing yourself. Like, I wasn't paying attention. But I'm not going to say that out loud. Must blame someone else. Or something else. So the product's just fine. Just people not paying attention. Oh well. So, if you really want to know if something's good, do dig into the reviews, the opinions. Right, burnt sienna now. I mean, I have bought many things that, people were really enthusiastic about. When I shouldn't have. Because in the good part, it's also, you kind of want to know why are people excited. So just read that. I mean, if someone buys a coloring book and gives it a 5-star rating because it matches the drapes, yeah, that's not much of a useful review, is it? Not that I've ever come across anything like that, but I mean, it is a nice example of not all 5-star ratings are earned either. Just, make sure you form your own opinion based on the right, I guess, input. So now I'm into the Beaster. I know that I'm going a lot darker on this, but I'm kind of hoping that's gonna turn out okay. Now this is just going straight in for like a medium pressure, because I'm not trying to make it look fancy. Actually, a lot of the pages that turn up online that I personally really like, done by others, they don't seem to have done a whole lot of layering either. Suspect some of them even use a marker base layer. Which is why, that's why I prefer if people just say what they used in materials. So that mostly beginners who haven't really figured out that you can color it like this, they just get, oh, is that how you do it? Rather than feeling bad about themselves. Which is also why I decided to do this color along, because I could do it with just pencil, just like everyone else. Or I could show you this nifty trick. I couldn't find a whole lot of videos about that. And I could find videos that you can color like this, but not an actual color along. Not in this book anyways. Although, of course, it's also selecting languages when I search. So a lot of things I won't find because there are still a lot of languages that I just don't understand. So if I hit that search button, it's not going to come up. Feel, oop, I think that should do it. I also feel I missed a little bit over there. Did I miss a little bit? I missed a little bit. Just get that light blue in there. We'll be fine. Yeah, that's good enough. Good enough. So now we have that entire branch done. And it just looks so alive. Now, if you're really going to be looking at it close, you can still sort of see the paper through. Partly though, because we put the marker there. Now this top part, I'm not too happy about that. So I'll just see if I can sort of fix that-ish. I feel like if I just make it that dark color should be enough even. Now that outer line I'm probably going to do with some form of Posca, as in paint marker. And we'll be getting new ones, so I'm not sure how we'll be doing it with Posca. Let's just get that branch done too. What is that? How did that get there? You know, a smudging thing? No, you can't see that. You know, my paper is all bubbly now. Tape coming off. It's always chaotic here. Apparently, you should not do that on YouTube. Well, haha. I'm doing it anyways, because this is how I color. Discuss that on other color alongs as well. I'm going to do this as me. And I understand that there's an algorithm, and there's my analytics, and blah, 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 blah. But I have to do this, so I might as well do it as me. And yeah, I'm usually not that organized. So if you're looking for a how to organize your art supplies kind of video, I don't think I'll be uploading anything like that anytime soon. I mean, I am aware that I might be struggling a bit more with like subscribers and whatnot, because I decided to just do what I want to do. I had a plan. It's like do my thing. So now I feel like my thing is exactly what I should be doing, because that's why I got started. So I guess while you're here, it would really help if you like, subscribe, and all that. That is very motivational. Comments too. Those are, well, there is a comment section. If I definitely did not want anyone to comment, I would just, I think you can turn that off. But I didn't. You know, I'll trust you to, I really trust you to be nice. You don't have to lie. So if there's something very wrong in the video, or you know, improvement, a little bit of feedback, that's all good. Just don't be a meanie. There's nice ways to say things. But definitely subscribe. And you know, if you are coloring along, just pause it for a little bit. Do click the like button. And if you really don't want to, then okay. I love you too, and all that, but... And I'm looking for my brush. And do join the Facebook group, if you haven't already. See that difference? I do feel like I should get working on this, which is... Yeah, I did this in speed coloring, so I didn't really see, but I did go a little bit lighter on that. So that I can add some dark to it later. No, for some reason I just noticed that I was gonna bring something to drink, and then I didn't. Must hydrate in this freaky warm room. But, I mean, you wouldn't really notice, because I just used one of them maybe fancy transitions. It's just getting weirder and weirder, I feel. Alright, and the reason I'm going for the dark on top is because there is this branch here, and I feel like it would just make it look more natural. We will find out. I need to hit something with the back of the extender. And wait, what? Not what I needed to, but I did it anyways. I mean, I could go straight into the rest. Let's just see if I can get the colors sort of right. Ah, there's a bit of a shine, but I like this. I like how this is going. Just turn this one off for a little bit. Yeah, that's not really helping. But I think this is going somewhere. See that difference? Now, I don't know if I can actually show. Let's just do what I did over there. This is, by the way, the same kind of paper. So we did a little bit of the dark sepia. And then we had some of this. We kind of put that next to it. And then we kind of joined with the sienna. Went over that with that beaster. And then we went into that with the burnt ochre. Because this is kind of how I do it on the page right now. Very simple, but as you can see, if I can get it to focus, let's just, yes, focus. It's more liney, and you can see, especially where I did the burnt sienna, you can just see the white still coming through. Where here, I did the same thing. But there's, yeah, over here you can kind of see there's something coming through, but it just looks more natural. So that's why I put that underneath. I just need to grab myself something to drink. So transition time, I'll be right back. Right, my break was a bit longer than expected, but also I got to editing, so it was easy to find my colors again. 182 in the crappy extender, the 179 in crappy extender, the 283, and this has to be the 176. Yes, and I am editing the dark sepia, which for me, yeah, they all kind of need sharpening except for this one, I think. So I'll just start with that. And as you might be able to see, the point is different because I got that new sharpener, which so far I really love. I really do. Kind of looked like, wasn't sure, but I don't know, I like this. I mean, at first the point is going to be a bit weird because you go from long to short, but I don't know, I got this a few days ago and I like it. Alright, so over here, this got to be like shadow. I mean, we decided that the light is coming from the right, but there's this big thing, there's this one. So just in here, I'm gonna get that dark sepia in. Alright, so that is part of that. Well, is it a bench? But I'm mostly sticking to like the bottom part. And I don't know, I feel like I should definitely show you that sharpener because I had one of those sharpeners that people were, again, raving about. And then it turned out to be, for me. But I also noticed other people having a struggle. Which is probably because it was tested in a video, but that's kind of why I said, for now, I like this sharpener. Because going back a few videos, I liked this one too. Until I used it a bit longer, and then I didn't. So right now, I'm using this one. I mean, I had to. It looked so cute. And I was like, this can't be good, right? I mean, actually, the plastic is, let's call it a bit flimsy. But this just holds the pencil shavings. It has 2 holes. Now, so far, I have only been using the small one. And that goes for the polys as well as my new pencils, because I also now have the luminance And that, they fit in the small hole too. So I don't even know why they have that big one. So if you have extreme pencils, this is the one. But it's I mean, I saw this, I was like, well, it can't be good, but it is. So, you know, if you're looking for a sharpener, it kind of looks cute on your desk. Oh well. And I've actually been like talking to other people too, like what sharpener do you use? And fun fact, a lot of people just go for a very basic sharpener. I mean, before I got the new one, I was using this, which I got for free. Did the job a lot better. But for now, I like this one. I should name him though. I mean, he has a face. A very cute face. Yeah, I spent so much time looking at sharpeners. At some point, you just become bored. And you start clicking random things. And then I saw that one, and I was like, that looks... wow. That looks cute. And then I actually looked into like the ratings people gave it. People were actually kind of enthusiastic about it, and I was like, you know what? I am so done looking for a sharpener. I so am. I'll just buy it. Figuring it couldn't be worse than the one I had. So yeah, it was a bit of a random purchase. I was like, well, you know what? With this one, if it turns out really bad, that's okay. It'll still look cute. Which I can't really say for that T-Gull, because it doesn't really look cute either. It just looks very much like a sharpener. And I can see I haven't used this. I'll just go over that. The reason I'm adding a darker color is mostly because it's bigger, so it has room for an extra color. I feel like I should move my lights again. I've actually been doing some drawing, because, I don't know, well, I was a bit intimidated by drawing, because it feels like coloring is safe and, I don't know, easy. I mean, someone already did the lines, that's basically, you could just sit down. Wow, that was smooth. You can just sit down and get started. But, you know, I do want to explore art and something. So I wanted to give, well, drawing a try. And not just like line art, but went straight in there with colored pencils as well, just to see what that's like. And yeah, well, that's taking up time. Just like coloring. I mean, you want to keep it simple. You'll be done quick. If you want more details, it'll take time. Nothing wrong with that. But that also means that the upload rate... wow, I'm having issues talking now. But the upload rate on this is going to be a bit slow. Oh god, this thing is bright. See if I can put it behind me. Yeah, that sort of works for me. I can get this bit down. That might work. Is that... yes! So, into my second color. So that is the Van Brown 176. It's funny because my screen seems so dark. It's because there was a lamp on there before. It's kind of weird switching back to coloring like this. Like, well, just a coloring page. I don't want to be like that. But it's different from what I'm trying to draw anyways. Kind of separating fun and learning, although the learning is definitely fun. But on a previous color along, I actually uploaded every other day, which, I mean, I didn't hate it. Let's just be clear about that. but it didn't, I don't know, I think like I didn't give myself time to just do my own thing off screen, which I still want to do. I still have a lot of learning and exploring to do, which doesn't mean I'll always be doing everything off screen. I still have a little something waiting, some plans, some ideas. New materials, actually, something I haven't worked with before. I was just thinking I could do the whole watch me draw thing, but because I'm just getting started with that, it's gonna take even longer, and it's gonna be more painful to watch. So maybe I'll do that in the future. I'll just see how that goes. But for now, I think I should just focus on my tree. Now, I think what might actually be smarter to do here, you know, to make sure we actually get something done, is to do this part and then speed up that part. And again, if you want to double check what I did, if I don't forget, I will put it up in the Facebook group. Which not many people are joining, that's okay. And if you do want to see what the result after this is, I mean, you can see in the video, but on the group I'll post a picture so you can zoom it in a bit. Examine it as you will. What? Oh my god. See, this is why I should speed it up. My speaking is off. Must be the weather. It is incredibly warm in here. Like I shouldn't go all out on the trunk too much. Alright, so now that's that beast. I should just put my finished colors there. I don't know, I mean that lighter one is probably going to go on top because this is a bit of a weird branch, I think. I am still kind of okay with actually the idea of speeding things up because you can get a lot more done in one coloring. Or well, one video. So if you are coloring alone, it wouldn't take as long as the complicated one I did before this. I feel like this is sort of it. So now into the lighter one. I guess it doesn't matter much where you put your colors as long as like that shadow color is at the bottom. And the light one is, well, over here is kind of everywhere. But I do think it kind of looks okay. Can I just, I don't know, I feel like my lights are, I need lights. There you are. It looks good. I feel like that top part needs a little something. Just use this one for that. So I could do these because I'm not sure what to do with those. Nah, well, I'll just do the entire thing and by the time I get there we'll just see. But basically the dark part is going to be on the left and we go lighter to the right. So let's just speed it up. Right, now over here, I'm going to have to add some shadow. Well, don't have to, but I want to. I'm not going to do a whole lot. Probably should have sharpened my point for that too, but no, well, we were not going for perfection. Which is not me saying that I'm just deliberately trying to make it ugly. It's just, I don't know. Oh, well, yeah, over there I do want to sharpen. No, for some reason I also dropped a pencil. Which, I don't know. Maybe speeding it up actually saves me from making it look extra awkward. But it's kind of like when I'm thinking, like, what do I want to color next? Or is this good? Or start fiddling with your pencil a bit and then you just drop it. And then I could just keep coloring because I don't know how I dropped it, and I'll see that in my own replay. But point was still good. Plus, I'm not seeing like a brown tap anywhere. So, But yeah, I was talking about not making it look perfect. I mean, it's just a coloring page. But the way I see it, I think these lines are actually like sort of coming from painting. Not sure. You could look into that. Either way, it takes time, but you might be able to see it is clearly like a drawing. So you can spend your time trying to make it look hyper realistic, but that's not going to happen because the lines will not let you. So that's why I decide to just work with what I've got and see what I can turn that into, rather than trying to turn it into something that it isn't, or that it isn't going to be, depending on how you look at it. I mean, for me, these are just for coloring. Sounds a bit degrading. Do not mean it like that, but can't really turn it into some artistic masterpiece. You could try, I suppose, but the lines are what they are. I believe I also mentioned the birds. Let's just see how this goes, because I kind of like that being open. I mean, I'll probably blend it, but yeah, so far the tree looks kind of good. And one of the reasons that I picked this one, I'm kind of showing the list, it's more on the red side, so it just makes it so warm. So it's kind of what you want. Sounds a bit weird, you know, make your tree look warm, but well, it kind of is what I'm doing. I'm picking a bit of a warmer color in there to create a different kind of atmosphere to the page. I mean, I have pages where I color snow. I'll probably be doing that too. Although I kind of color with the seasons. But where I'm at, spring is almost over, but wow. This could be a summer scene as well, I guess. Doesn't necessarily have to be. So, even in the summer, this would still be okay to color. I guess I kind of... Yeah, I think summer and spring are somewhat the same. I mean, sure, the tree is blossoming, so that is really more of a spring thing. But, like, I have books in, well, more autumn themed, And I don't want to color those now because I don't know. They do have this certain vibe. That just fits the season. So I'll probably start coloring that like late August. Depending on the weather though, because if we end up with a very cold kind of summer, which I'm kind of doubting, because it's really warm already. It's another year of extremes here. But yeah, sometimes you have like that feeling like autumn starts early this year, so then I might start a bit sooner. But I was talking about the snow. Let's go back to that after I pick up a little Q-tip. But with the snow, which, you know, I will be coloring, but that's probably going to be October-ish. I guess I kind of try and go for a warm kind of color for the snow as well. It sounds so weird, but it's doable. Alright, I feel like this Q-tip is not doing a whole lot more than just taking the color off the paper. I'm kind of thinking it looks okay though. There's a bit of a texture, a structure, and well, a pattern to it. Let's just hold it like this so we can really see. Yes, that you can see. But I'm not sure I'm minding that. I think I'm very okay with the way it looks right now. Let me just get up. Yeah, I like it. I'm done with that tree. Yes. I'm so okay with that. Now, I haven't done this little fella, so I'll just grab my dark sepia, because there's like a really thick black line there. Grab the Van Dyke Brown. And I don't know. Yeah, this one, the sienna one. And then a little bit of the 182. I just can't see anymore, which kind of needed sharpening too, but yeah, did that a little bit over there. I added a little bit of brown here too. Alright, so I mentioned birds, which means I'm gonna go get some colors for the birds. Now, for the birds, I have decided to not go in there with marker. I'm gonna use blue and yellow, and that's funny because it's the same blue that I used for the sky, I think mostly anyways, because I have the 144, the cobalt blue greenish. I have the phthalo blue 110. Yes, I am going to keep doing that. And I have the middle phthalo blue, which is the 152. I should really rename this because it just, yeah. And so, yeah, let's just close it in a bit. It's kind of, it's these three. So I'm just going with a dark, a middle, and I'm going to say a light blue, but that, yeah, almost light blue. From this one, I got the 183, which is the light yellow ochre. Then I have the Naples yellow 185. So that's going to be those two. And I needed a bright yellow with that, which is going to be the 106 light chrome yellow, which has a paint blob, but pink. Oh well. I might want to zoom in a bit more, so I'll do that first. I have no idea what you'd call these birds in English, but they're just going to be blue and yellow. And it doesn't really matter where you color them, I guess. Just kind of spreading the blue. Because I actually looked outside of it, and we have birds kind of, well, it's blue and yellow. And they always seem to come in pairs, so there's a little line there, so I'll just use that. I mean, they're my birds. They don't have to be 100% correct. They just need to be colored. Kind of also shows what happens if you don't add the marker. So I am applying a bit more pressure because I don't want to do 10 layers. I don't, so I want to get this right in one go. Now into the, was it the middle one? This is the phthalo, so the 110. Bit too much pressure. It does make it a bit harder to blend, but these birds are so tiny. Which is also why I love a good sharpener, because if you have a good sharpener, you're gonna have no problem getting in here with all these colors. I guess if your sharpener is not that good, or not that sharp, I mean, it depends on what you prefer, then you might not be able to get all these colors in here. Although I feel you should, I think you should be okay. Unless you really, really, really have a very, very, very bad one, but I might want to call it quits after this. I'm not sure. I think I could do some prep work for the next time. It's just I remember myself saying something about the birds. So I wanted to get started on the birds. And then seeing these blue and yellow ones outside, I was like, there were a couple, and well, they are now too. So I'm going to that yellow. Which is basically just the same principle. Looking for a place to call shadow. And just, I guess it's more just trying to prevent it from becoming one yellow. Okay. Whoa, that's how sharp they are. Which is also kind of, I mean, it is still sharp. It is just because they came, well, sharpened from a different sharpener. So it was a bit longer. So then when you sharpen them a bit shorter, it just, I don't know, seems to break. This one seems to be okay, but we'll see. I mean, they are the same color as the sky, so they are sort of fading into it, but real birds have camouflage too. I thought I could do like just sparrows. They'd just be brown, so then I'd be merging with the tree or something. And then we had like the red robins, but I don't know. I usually use those for like autumn pages or fall or whatever. So, bird. Another bird. I feel like that tail needs a, yeah. Actually closing in like this, I feel like there's a bit of a line over there. Just gonna go for, well, I'm gonna go for that middle one, which is the 110. Which isn't actually called middle, but it is the mid-tone that we picked. And this seems to make more sense. It does to me anyways. Yeah, that does look better. So I mentioned prep work. I didn't remember saying that I was going to do these flower thingies. I picked a color for that. I'm not sure if I want to do that, but I am going to grab some markers for that tree. I was thinking I could do like a red tree, but no. I feel like just keeping that green is going to be good, so I'll just see if I can grab some things. Pages moved a bit. Looking to my greens, actually got 3. is the grass green, so the GY2, I got the GY3, and I got the number 5, which is going to be for these trees. So I'm going to start with that number 3 for that one. I'm just going to avoid the flowers, what I think are flowers. I've decided it's flowers. My laptop is being very noisy. I hope that's not picking up. Did get a lot done today, I feel. Well, today in this part, because, you know, speeding it up and all is helping. It's just, you know, the upload rate of this is going to be lower. It's not going to be every other day, because I'm kind of also exploring. Like I said, you know, doing some drawing, trying to figure out how to do that. If you want to know how that's going, I mean, do check out the Instagram. We'll not be posting that in the group, I think. I will definitely remind myself to post this. Well, not as is now, but once I'm done with the markers. So that, you know, if you are curious about a certain piece, then, you know, you can just zoom it in. Or if you have questions and whatever. That should be it. Already kind of looks okay, doesn't it? Then I have the 5, which is a bit more on the more mossy side, because I feel these trees should be different. Might also be a good time to remind people to click things. Like button, subscribe button, notification button. And I don't know, let me know what you think about the video in the comment section. I always hate that part. It's so awkward. But honestly, I do like likes. Guess I also like subscribes. Now again, I will not be going over this with pencil, not for this part, but for the next part it kind of means that we can just go straight in. Though I don't think these trees are going to take up too much time. One of the main reasons that I'm using a different shade of green is so that with pencils I can probably just use the same colors, because that base layer is different. Because if you may have noticed on that tree trunk, I didn't go all out. I mean, you can still, if this was just paper, you could still see the paper. I'm going to do these trees as well in this same color. I was kind of debating, should I do them different, but oh well, we are here. Might as well do that. Might as well speed this little part up, save a little bit of time. And then for this one, we have that GY2. Because I figured it's going to be more shady over here. Probably, so we need a bit of a darker green. I know that generally speaking people would say if you use marker as a base layer, you don't have to be too neat about that, but I have to say, well, on this, I'm trying to be one, the sky I kind of had to be, because if I would have kept that streaky, yeah, would have shown. Alright, I also got the, what did I get? The GY7. But as I was saying, the not neat part, I mean, if you really don't care, okay. I mean, you are covering a lot of it with marker, but if you're going to be too careless, it might show in the end. Besides, I feel like with so many details, there's still these lines that you kind of don't want to cross. You want to color within the lines, which kind of makes it careful. And it also kind of makes it easier to cover it all. Because when you're trying to stay within the lines, your speed kind of slows down. So streakiness will reduce as well. Though I suppose if you're coloring with the fine nip, oh crappy crap. Well, I'll just enjoy that mono sound again, because I had to get up to get my markers. But as I was saying, I mean, if you're using the fine nip, it might be a bit more streaky. I would know, I always use my brush nip, and that's the only nip I use. Because I can do details and big areas, so it's a multi-tool. Yeah, so that's it for the background grass. I was gonna do that, but I will just do it. Why not? And for some reason that is blurry every now and then. I mean, these flowers I'm gonna probably color lightly. Do a lot of it with a paint marker anyways. There's a reason I'm not saying Posca, because I have been having issues with that too. Like I had a white Posca, I actually gave away because someone else could use it, and I ordered one of them sets, which also had a white, so I gave my white away. Figuring I have a new white, so I'm good. It's just that thing never worked. And I bought like a new one, and that's doing the same thing. It's like with some of these, with the Posca, with the Posca, I kind of feel like you have to wait for it to work, and that waiting takes too long, and then it kind of works okay for a bit, and then it becomes rebellious again. So I picked up some new paint markers. Well, I didn't pick them up, I had them delivered. We don't have a shop here, so laziness. So I'll be trying those for the next part then, because I don't think we really did anything this time that needs a paint marker touch up. I mean, the bird's eyes maybe, but I don't know. The birds look like proper birds. And I do feel the tree looks kind of good. So now we know what we're going to be doing next time, which is just the rest of the background. Those clouds I'm still a bit unsure of. I mean, I suppose that I could go over that with this as well. I will do that. I will do just that. I mean, that does make the clouds a bit dark, but it also makes it that we can go over it with a lighter color. And if all else fails, we can use a paint marker. Now, the bird I'll be doing with a paint marker anyway, so I'm not even going to try to avoid that. I mean, if you don't have paint markers, you really should look into them. Especially for coloring, it's amazing. Same with like the flowers. If I had to do that little dot with just pencil, would have taken up so much time. It's just so easy to really bring your pages to life using a little bit of a paint marker. Although, I guess because it's a paint marker, if you don't have a paint marker but you do have paint, I guess you could do it like that too. Though I feel like the paint in a paint marker is a bit more, I don't know, call it runny. So there was acrylic paint in those markers, which is dry pretty fast. I guess you can replace it for just acrylic paints. Alright. So the next time, well, everything that is now done with marker. And, yeah, sorry for forgetting to plug in the mic, because, yeah, I know I'm going to find it annoying in editing, so someone else is probably going to feel the same way. So, yeah, this will be it for now. So next time we're going to do the rest of the background, and maybe add stuff more to the front. We'll see. So, don't forget to check the Facebook group if you're like, what's going on in that little area, or whatever area. Maybe like the birds, because it would be easy to just have them close up. So yeah, for now, I am going to thank you very much for watching. Do hope to see you back for the next part, and have a good one.